The song's called, it's Mad Mad. Mad, 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 mad. I'm mad. Mad, 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 mad. Why do I feel so bad? I might be hungry. I may be tired. I might be frustrated. Let's wait a while. And then ask your stomach, like, why am I feeling this? Like, our daughter had a problem with, she always thought she was going to vomit. But I think that she didn't realize that she was having, I'm hungry, I'm nervous, I'm frustrated, I'm this, that, and...
Welcome to Hacking Your ADHD. I'm your host, William Kerb, and I have ADHD. On this podcast, I dig into the tools, tactics, and best practices to help you work with your ADHD brain. Hey team, this week I'm talking with Emmy-winning composers Raio Rende and her husband, JP Rende. They're a team who've written music for everyone from Elmo to the Jonas Brothers. But today we're talking about their project Aidee, a collection of songs designed to help kids with ADHD build everyday tools through music. I got a chance to listen through their album before the interview, and it's honestly really great. Since having kids of my own, I've had the opportunity to listen to a lot of children's music, and that can be hit or miss. So I was pleasantly surprised with how good the songs actually are and how quickly the message got into my head. Which leads right into what Kat and JP and I talked about in this interview. How we can use music as a tool for memory and routines, why silly songs can be powerful ADHD strategies, and how turning everyday frustrations into sticky little tunes can lower shame and raise our confidence. We also got a bit into working with our ADHD, but also how to navigate working with a partner who has ADHD, and we also touch on breathing exercises, dealing with shame, and the parenting tightrope of empathy and boundaries. If you'd like to follow along on the show notes page, you can find that at hackingYourADHD.com/246. All right, keep on listening to find out why nothing rhymes with orange. Happy to have you guys here with me. I've had fun. I was playing the album for my kids this morning during breakfast, and my 10-year-old was like, "Dad, this is so cringe." And then within minutes later, like making her stuffies dance to the music and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, she's like, yeah, but it's infectious." And I'm like, that's kind of the point here. It gets in your head and it goes. But before we get into the music and stuff, how about can I hear a little bit about you guys and like how you got into making this kind of music?
I'm Kat, and this is JP Rende. And we're married. We have 2 kids who have ADHD. And we started out writing jingles. We did a lot of jingles for toilet paper. And then we ended up at Sesame Street doing a lot of educational-based work and doing a lot of different TV shows for kids that focus on socio-emotional learning. And our kids, when they had an issue like putting their shoes in the closet when they came home and, the dog ends up eating them, we were at one point, we're like, take your coat, put it in the closet. And then we had songs for going and songs for slowing down. And they were just like silly songs that ended up working because they're constantly in our kids' heads. So when we realized that how sticky songs work, we decided to make an album about it, and here we are.
Awesome. Yeah, and I do find I know a lot of people with ADHD just have like little songs that they're singing to themselves about things they do to whatever it is that was in their head at the time.
It's interesting that so Kat was late diagnosed, as most women that have ADHD are, and she was once telling me when we were dating that before she leaves the house, she has this mantra: wallet, keys, cell phone, wallet, keys, cell phone.
It was wallet, keys, cell phone, awesome
glasses, whatever. So when she said that, and we started kind of exploring the album and Aidee, that jumped out of my mind. I'm like, wow, for you, that was a tool that you were using to leave the house. So let's, explore that for young children so that they have those tools at an earlier age rather than a 20-something girl that's constantly leaving her keys everywhere.
Oh yeah. And for me, like, it was important to make an album that was like not just for us by us, but in a way that is empathetic, so that the parents rather, try to understand their kids a little bit more, especially if they're not ADHD, to understand that like you will be forgetting your shoes in the closet for the rest of your life, but if you have a little sticky song, it will, and it's in your head when you get in that door, you will do it more often.
Yeah, and I mean, it's making me think about one of the things I wrote about early on in the show is this doorway effect, where if you walk through a doorway, you just can lose track of your thoughts because you're like processing this new information. The like, I walked into a new room and I'm like, why am I in this room? I don't know why I even got up. And one of the strategies I had suggested at the time is just telling yourself out loud what you're going to do. And seems like a much better strategy, anyways. Where because if I'm like getting up, going to get a hammer, going to get a hammer.
Yes, and those little like this thing is like it like motivates you to keep going, right? It motivates you to continue to go where you are, not have any distractions along the way. And then when you get there and that magical threshold of a door brings you to a place where you completely forgot what's been going on for the past 5 minutes, you're still singing that song.
Well, do you ever find yourself when you're on your computer that you go click on your browser and you're like Google, 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 like you're like, okay, that's what I need to do. Google. I find myself saying that out loud because you can get distracted in so many different ways.
Well, it's funny. Even this morning when I was like sitting down, well, before I sit down, I was writing some things on my whiteboard of like things I was going to do today. And I was like, almost stopped at what I was going to do when I sat down. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get these things set up on my phone. I'm just going to go do that. I'm like, I'll just write that up there anyways so that can check it off. It took me 20 minutes to get there. And I was like, oh yeah, I was going to do those things. And I was like, I just sat down. How did it pop out of my head that fast? But we're not thinking about the distractions that could come in while we're doing the things. We're like, yeah, I'm just going to go do that thing. Why would I need to remember something for 30 seconds? I can do that. Apparently not all the time.
No. And when we were kids, the three of us were kids, there was nothing like a cell phone or multi apps in one place to purposefully try to get your attention. There's like, you go on your phone to write a reminder, and there are still, this news story, this text message, this missed call, this, you know, other to do that has to happen right now. And that stuff never existed.
It's like, open my phone. Oh yeah, there was this other thing I forgot to do 10 minutes ago that I should have been doing then, and then I forget what I was trying to do right now.
Yes. And speaking of to-do lists, I have listened to your podcast and not realized it when we booked it. And when it came to um when I saw the podcast, I was like, oh my God, this is the one. The Timing Your Day podcast. I still on my to-do list write how many minutes it would take. And it helps me so much to be able to like know, okay, this activity should take 30 minutes. And now I have my own timer to, say, okay, without getting distracted, I have 30 minutes to do this task and it will take that long. And like it has changed a lot of how I live my life.
Well, it's really funny because we both overestimate and underestimate what our time things are. Like a lot of the simple things, like hanging up a coat or something, I'll be like, I don't need to hang this up because that's going to take forever. So I'm going to throw it in the corner, and then I have this pile of coats in the corner. Or unloading the dishwasher. I'm like, I don't want to unload the dishwasher now. I don't have the time to do it. I'm like, oh, that actually took like 7 minutes total. Maybe, and that might be me overestimating it right now. It often takes almost no time at all when I'm like actually doing it and focused on just doing that one thing. It's like, oh yeah, these are really easy. And then I'm like, oh, how long is it going to take me to write this episode? Oh, that'll take me like 20 minutes. Oh no, that's a 3-hour process. Okay, I should have kind of realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kat's traffic, not traffic, driving places. She's like, oh yeah, it's 10 minutes, so I can leave.
I can leave exactly 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Thinking
and
about how much
being
time
like
it'll-
a half-hour drive without traffic.
Yeah. It's so
But that's just that's part of it, and that's kind of what led us to really want to create content that kind of starts, like I said, just at an earlier age than later, because Um, although I personally don't officially have ADHD, I have anxiety issues, depression. So I've been in therapy for nearly my whole life, and there's a lot of um, commonalities in treatment, which is, cognitive behavioral therapy, which is, mindfulness. That's a word that's thrown around so much, but um, you know, with ADHD, there is a block in that. So it's not just like, can't you just be more mindful? No, they cannot. They cannot.
I,
It's a matter of really working towards it, and celebrating the wins, and accepting some of the losses without judgment. And that's how we um navigate our relationship with each other and with our children.
yeah, there was like there was a time I was raised when something happened that was a mistake. It was like, whoops, and then we fix it, reset. I mean, I wasn't raised like that, but I was raised to like, whoops, okay, anyway, let's move on. And I found out from meeting JP that like most people are not raised that way. And the idea of this like these mounting like fails, of course it creates anxiety. And like JP said, like the big thing of like making music for kids with ADHD is to like the main goal, the true main goal is to get them early before the the extra comorbidities happen, right? Because those things are way harder to fix than my like thing that I always do is whoops, you forgive yourself immediately, you make it right, and then you find a plan so it's not going to happen next time, right? And if you can do that, I mean, if you do it, if you learn it young, there's a song that we have called learning more every day, and that's what it's all about. It's like I don't I may not understand everything, I may make mistakes, and then when I do, whoops, I do a refresh, and it's a happy song. Like that, it's a that's who I am, I do this. And um if you if you can get that early, that's like I think the hardest part is all like the shame that is attached to that.
Yeah, because shame really defines a lot of ADHD's more negative sides, where it's like, yeah, you got to like get with like the keys. It becomes this thing like, oh yeah, I lost my keys, and then it becomes this like internalized, I can never remember my keys, and that means that I can't do anything else where I might need to use my memory.
And like the other thing that when you were talking about like um about like or rather when you William were talking about like the how long it'll take to do something, or like this will only take 20 minutes. The other thing that I hope to get out of my life, my kids' life, the album, the whole thing is that things may take longer when you have less spoons, right? Like if you are in a mood where you can't do it now, you might want to save that task for a time when it actually will only take 15 minutes. Like it may not have made that for you. It might not have been that at that time.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, I have stuff that I've done about following your energy patterns, and like, we only can do so much stuff in a day. It feels like we should be able to just push through everything and just like, oh yeah, I can work, it's an 8-hour work day. I should be able to do work all full 8 hours. It's like, no, that's not how your brain works at all.
No.
Uh, Especially with
No.
ADHD. But it's something that if we kind of embrace it, like, oh, I'm going to do stuff when I can do it best. I'm going to get the best results. Uh, and I'm sure that's really true with writing music. Uh,
Oh my God,
Yeah. Oh my
sorry.
God. Yes. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go
um,
ahead. I have so much to say about that.
it's it's not a typical 8-hour workday. You can't. And some days I will admit, you're just staring at the keyboard or the computer blank, and you're just like, all right, it's just not coming today. Right? You know what? And that's it. And it's okay. Whereas if you're at a corporate job, you don't have that luxury. And when you're in a creative space, you kind of got to know when is your best time to create. And um, for us, it's different. Years ago, I used to be a night owl. I used to do all my stuff late at night, and now I can't even stay up past 10 o'clock. So, I'm more of a daytime worker, but not in the morning. Like I have my most creative hours, believe it or not, are like 11 o'clock till about 4 o'clock. And then that's about it.
And then I was just thinking, like, as a like a creative person and a person whose like job feels like play sometimes, when we were at that point right after like grade school, high school, we went to music school, but like when you're when you have all day to do the thing you love, you will, I mean, you can truly take like the whole day, right? You can just morning to night create this masterpiece, like everything goes exactly your way. And then once you say, okay, well, now you have other projects, or you have personal responsibilities, or you have kids and they need your time. And so now, like, it had to get into this very tight space. And it, as my daughter and my son, but mostly my daughter, because she has more, she's more vocal about how she feels. As I realize that she's getting pulled in so many directions all the time, all the time, because she's 8, I realized that, like, if she could just stay in one space, she'd be the absolute best version of herself. However, we all need to, like, be pulled in directions and have these tight schedules sometimes. And, like, if I can't remember if I brush my teeth and I have to have my toothbrush on the left and move it to the right when I'm done, and I'm an adult with decades of experience, how can I expect her to thrive in a short amount of time? She has to learn that too. And, that's a hard thing to learn as a parent, that your kid is your like unrefined self for all its beauty and all its hardships.
Yeah, it's amazing with kids. It is funny. I have joked with a friend of mine that kids are like the ultimate productivity hack because they teach you how to really manage your time. Because, oh, I suddenly half the day I just could not do what I thought I could do because I need to be paying attention to them, but not need. I want to be paying attention to them because that's the important part of my day.
Right? And it's like the place where you get to play all day.
One of the things that I'm wondering too is, so do you have any techniques that you guys use to work together, especially with one partner being ADHD and trying to manage that schedule with this creative process and trying to actually, I mean, because there's also, I know the creative side is great, but there's also a business side to making sure you're communicating and getting stuff out in a timely way and all that aspects.
100%. So how we work together is separate. No, so if when we're working on a television show or a project that comes across, we have a brief, there's a deadline. It's not like, okay, whenever you get it done. And um, we're very, very cognizant of that, of hitting the deadlines. And Kat is actually way better at scheduling that stuff because she has everything down to a T. Okay, and so we really haven't come um into any issues with meeting deadlines, thankfully. But I
Except
do.
for that when we like forget that the project exists. And then we're like, oh, we have to do this right now. We have an hour. But like,
That does not happen to me.
happened to
Sorry, I'm
me.
just kidding.
It's happened to
But
me.
no, but going back to our process, so she has her own studio today. We're in mine. We're right across the hall. So we have a server. So one of us will start a song, then send it to the other, then come back for refinement. She's the singer. So she's the last person to touch it creatively, and then we'll send it out. So we have this kind of um assembly line situation going on between us. And thankfully, um, we're just you're using all the tools that you've learned for so long that we're able to stay in business.
Yes. And in terms of like an executive function partner, and we've never talked about this, like JB and I are, JP is like always there to be like, hey, remember you have your doctor's appointment in 15 minutes, or hey, the kids are coming back, who's going to take them? Hey, you're like, whoever is working, the other person's making dinner. Whoever is working, the other person is um like, you know, doing the invoicing that needs to be done, or things like that. But because of my systems that I have created, my, for example, gig log has, this is, when I've worked, this is who I have to invoice for things, and JP CCs me on it. If he makes an invoice, I check it off that we have it, and the two of us try to have as much fail safe as possible. But another on another side, personally, for school, we have one email address. That means that I'm getting stuff, he's getting stuff. Then we talk about it. Whoever responds, it shows that that email is not bolded anymore, right? If you get the email, you are responsible for responding to the email. And I highly recommend that to every set of parents, whether ADHD or not, one family email address for school stuff, and even for, bills and everything, so that, like, we have a good friend who happened to miss an email, and because it was only on their email address, the other parent had no idea existed. And that would have been, like, heartbreaking, and if it was something important, and that's something that has helped a lot, a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it sounds like you guys have a great working relationship and a great like partnership there, creating a lot of accountability that I know sometimes I need when I'm like doing creative work, where it's just like I'm like, this is a deadline, but not this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
And
Oh, self deadlines is a whole
yeah,
different thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I was also thinking about with the this album that you guys just wrote. Like, how was that process going with? Because I feel like that would have less of a like deadline than what was would typically you'd have.
For sure.
Or it
That was
got,
you.
yeah, it got pushed back several times because when other projects came up, there's only so many hours in a day, and we're like, okay, we're gonna have to push AD aside again and finish over. There was a bit of um compromise in finishing the project, and it also wasn't as simple as the songs are. It wasn't a quick process because we really did a lot of research and spoke
Yeah.
with a lot of people, um, and met with our kids therapists, and really wanted to make sure that we were doing a service and not a disservice with this. So as simple as they are, there's some depth behind them and some research that we've done. So um, it could have taken, just a couple weeks, but we took a while on it.
Yeah, we have this board, this like Dollar Tree board that we have on our wall, and it says each of the songs, right? And it says, um, it was like concept, right? And we have, we have like, we wanted a, like, look back while it keys cell phone song, and that's called Anything Else. That's our first song. And then we wanted a song about slowing down and chilling out. And so each of those songs had slow down, chill out, and that became breathe. We have this became this, and so we have that. Then it's like rough lyrics, final lyrics, rough production, final production, rough form or final form, rough vocals, final vocals, mix, final mix, master. And it's got all these things on it because literally where are we on this song? I don't know. That's hard. That's
Yeah,
hard
it, it,
to
it was
know.
it was it was quite a process because we were juggling other projects at the same time
Yeah, we had
as
like
well.
4 shows at the time, I think. we were doing Princess Power, Baby Shark, Sesame, and what's the fourth one?
And some of Gabby's Dollhouse.
And Gabby's
Yeah.
Dollhouse. Yeah. So we had like a lot of shows that were, hey, we need a song from you. We need a song for you. So that was
It was funny when I was like reading the bio. I'm like, oh, I know all these shows, and I'm like, and these are the shows that did clearly come out after my kids aged out of them.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're finding that now too, where if anybody's listening, our kids are really into
Uh-oh.
K-pop Demon Hunters, so we need to get on that.
That's
I don't know if you know that one, no, but yeah, our kids, like, we were cool for like a nanosecond with our kids, and then they're just like, eh.
There was like a moment in first grade where everybody was brushing their teeth to our Elmo song, Brushy Brush. And they're like, I'm brushing your teeth with your toothbrush. I'm like, cool. And then yesterday, Ella was like, we were writing a song for a Disney series. And Ella's like, is this for babies? And I was like, actually, it is. She's like, oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, it's very funny with how quickly they are just into new things and just
Oh, it's
Yeah.
wild. How old are your kids?
10 and almost 8.
Oh wow, yeah. It's a lot. Ours are 7 and almost 9, and so very similar. And it you can see the transition, and it's such a strange thing that, like, just last year they were still little, still into little things, and just a year later they're just like, yeah, I don't need to sleep with Bun Bun anymore. I don't need to do this, and I'm just like, wow, it's
You're like, oh,
interesting. Yeah.
Bun's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at the playlist of this album, the 80s World. And I think we can definitely, we had talked earlier about talking about some of the themes in these songs, because I think there are a lot of really great themes to think about. One of the songs that immediately came to mind to me when I was listening was the Breathe, because I was listening to it. I'm like, this is really anxiety inducing in like the first 3 seconds. And then it like slows down. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Because like when you're angry and we have so many ADHD people around us of all different types. We have like the inattentive, we have hyperactive, we have adults, kids around, and all of us are like, I need a second to breathe. I need a second to breathe. Okay, hold on. I need a second to breathe. And that's like a really angry thing to say. And that's what you would say, right? Like, I just need a second, right? And mostly adults, but also kids are like, I can't handle this. I need a second. I need a second to breathe. 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 And then all of a sudden it's like this. We made we made the mix in what is the name of the Apple Music?
Well, it's
I can't remember.
Atmos,
Atmos.
Dolby Atmos. So
We made the mix in Atmos on purpose. I mean, with it in mind, where it all of a sudden opens for you, and then you're here, and then instead of this like laser, like all I can think about is my anger. And kids don't get this; they can't put it into words, but they hear that it's all in one place, right? I'm so mad, and you're thinking of one thing, and then all of a sudden, once you can hook yourself onto your thinking brain, your instead of your angry brain, as soon as you can get back into that space, then you can hear the things around you again, right? And even with anxiety. And so all of a sudden it opens up, and now you have space, you have reverb, you have like this tempo that is like telling you, hey, I want your heartbeat here, right? Breathe. And then by the end of the song, it teaches you how you listen to your heartbeat by putting your finger on your neck. You hear it. You breathe in for 2, out for 4. That was an old singing technique that I would use and then later teach my own students. Breathe in for 3, out for 6, in for 4, out for, and then this tempo slows and slows. And by the time you're done, it's like you can hear the world around you again, and you can let, and like we all get into that moment, but once you're down, then you're literally calm again, like, and your brain is not full of bees.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because I had heard about breathing techniques for such a long time in my life, and then learning at some point, like, oh, there is like a physiological change in your parasympathetic nervous system, like activating when you're doing these like slow breathings, deep breaths. And it's like there is a point to all of this.
For sure. And like we talked about in the beginning of the commonalities of treatment with anxiety and ADHD and several others, breath work is paramount in everything. And there's box breathing, there's breathing like Kat was talking about, and just even just trying to focus on that, because with our, we're talking a lot about our daughter who's older. There is an anxiety element to her ADHD, and sometimes she does get severely overwhelmed, and we have to just be like, okay, let's breathe. That's
Yeah.
and It's just really, really, really important.
I tried a new one last night where, and this is like a really, really good one for ADHD in general, because you're always hearing things, right? You're always, it's not that you're not hearing voices, right? You're just hearing like sounds of people talking, conversations. You're hearing the whir of the fan on the computer, right? You're hearing the buzz of the cash registers. You're hearing, I mean, they don't exist anymore, but like you're hearing all the things. And what I found, if I take a giant breath and push all of my air out to the point where I'm struggling a little bit, once I let that go, and I did it with my daughter last night, and she immediately fell asleep, was everything gets quiet. It's like the first time you're medicated, like those things get quiet and you're back in the world again. It's pretty great. That one also works.
Yeah, because often ADHD kind of boils down to being this like filtering problem of I'm paying attention to everything all at once, or trying to, and that's why my attention's so scattered. And then this mindfulness piece comes in of, oh, I'm being mindful of it, that I'm hearing everything, but focusing on the things I want to focus on.
Yes. And that's like that. If you can get that, you are golden, in my opinion. Another song that I am very, very passionate about, because my son has a problem with, I can't remember, it's interoception or proprioception. I'm brain farting right now.
Is
Proprioception
your body in
is
space.
your body in space. Interoception. We have a song all about interoception called Jelly Belly. And it is where the song's called, it's Mad Mad. Mad, 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 mad. I'm mad. Mad, 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 mad. Why do I feel so bad? I might be hungry. I may be tired. I might be frustrated. Let's wait a while. And then ask your stomach, like, why am I feeling this? Like, our daughter had a problem with, she always thought she was going to vomit. But I think that she didn't realize that she was having, I'm hungry, I'm nervous, I'm frustrated, I'm this, that. And my son gets hangry and he gets really mad. And he did it the other day because if you can say, I'm mad, and if you can say it in a funny way, that immediately breaks your anger itself, right? You can kind of like, you humor it a little bit, like mad, 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 like, and then once you get past that emergency, I'm in the red, then you can say, okay, am I hungry? Am I tired? This. We when w- it, when we got that because when our kids were little and they're crying, there was a list that you say, okay, why is my newborn crying? Right? When your kids were born, you're like, okay, what is it? It's diaper change, too overstimulated, understimulated, tired, hungry. And there was like this list, right? It's most likely a diaper change. Then the second priority is this. And so you go through all those things. And especially for ADHD parents, like, if you're stressed out, all the answers may go out the door. So if you have, why do I feel so bad? You have a list and you can say, okay, it could have been all this stuff. I told JP that I wanted to say I have to pee, but we couldn't put that in song. But sometimes you're just mad because you don't realize that that you've been drinking water all day and you haven't used the facilities.
Or the opposite, you've had no water in the day and you're like, I'm completely dehydrated. And it's like, oh, if I have some water, I'm going to feel at least a little bit better in a bit. I do have some trouble with my kids being, I'm like, oh yeah, if you do this, you'll feel better. And they're like, I had some water, I don't feel better. I'm like, you got to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not instant.
Right. And we still do it. we still go hours without drinking and then wonder why we feel so tired or mentally foggy. You're like, oh right. I haven't drank any water literally today. But yeah, so we have that one, and then we have the proverbial don't put it down, put it
Yeah, I was
away.
just thinking about that one.
I really hope, and we've been not focus testing it, but we have been sending it out to people as this is new right now. And don't put it down, put it away has not come out. But like I said, we've been sending it around, and we have heard that you go to put it down and you're like, don't put it down. Put it away, 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 away. Like this, like very excited, like, I'm doing it right, guys. I'm going to put this down. And like you said, say what you're doing. Away, away, away. And you're taking the thing and you're going to put it away. There we go. It is back in its place because Aidee gives a high five to her future self. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm not like, it's not a shame-based approach. It's a good for me. Like, I did it. I put the thing away. So the hope is, again, that each of these songs are meant to be in the moment where you're about to do something else with the thing, with your shoes, with your moving into another room. What am I gonna? I don't put it down. Put it and as you're walking, way away, 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 away. And they're all like sticky, silly songs that hopefully will send them all the way to the place where they have to put it away.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the things that I always think about too with the put it away stuff is reminding my kids, like, okay, we're going to find a home for this thing to live. So that way we can put it away. Because if we don't have a place for it to go, where's it going to go? And they're like, well, wherever. And I'm like, and then is that going to be its home? Can't be.
Yeah, of course.
Every cheese sticks wrapper's home apparently is on our kitchen table.
Yes.
Oh, wrappers everywhere.
Wrappers. That was us, right?
Yeah. And so I think this is like a great, like, definitely intro to like building your toolbox of things that you can do to help like with your ADHD. Because it's not always like, oftentimes when I have like people like emailing me or asking me questions, they're like, what like app should I get? Or I'm like, it's not apps, it's strategies. That's what you need.
Strategies.
100%. 100%. And that's our goal with this project and moving forward. We want to work with foundations. We want to work with medical personnel and therapists to just kind of expand on this concept, because we're not claiming to be experts, but we have some knowledge in it and done some research, but there's so much further that we have to go. And kids, they really, it's just coming out now where there's less of a stigma with it, but it's still there. It's still
Yeah.
definitely there. And it may always be. I hope not, but if this is a way to kind of soften it a little bit, then we've done our job.
Yeah, because we all want our kids to know how amazing they are, and that, even with ADHD, it's not just this deficit, it's all these amazing things they can do within what their brain, working with your brain so that you can do the amazing things that you're capable of.
Yeah. And your first episode with the building your toolbox, it was people have talked about it since, but I don't remember it having been talked about before that. Like having this is what I'm really good at doing, or these are the hours that I work best, or I'm really good at this, but not this. So instead of trying to get better at this, let's make this work. Like, let's, like my toothbrush thing, like instead of trying to say, Catherine, you never remember whether you brushed your teeth. You never remember whether the contact went into which eye and where to put it back. You know, it if you're like in middle age and you're still doing those things, it's 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 not exactly a hard reality anymore. It does come like that, but like it shouldn't be anywhere anymore because we know so much more about ADHD. Like you're you always you will always have that, right? Routines do not exist, right? So you might as well do it differently and not kick yourself every time. Like, and make it work for you. Like, it's so silly not to.
Yeah, and just figuring out it's very small tweaks to how we're doing things that can make all the difference into getting things done. The example I always come back to is I had such a hard time remembering to reline the trash can after taking the trash out, and I was like, "Oh, what if I just take the trash out, reline it, and then take the trash?"
Yes. Or put a whole bunch of
Well,
trash bags underneath it.
it's interesting is that is some of the conversations that we have uh, in on our personal in our personal life,
Yeah.
um, where I'm just because to me, I would do that because I would forget, and then I would think, okay, so we're gonna just do this, and then it almost becomes obsessive with me. So I'd be to Catherine, why don't you just do this? And then as soon as I suggest it, she doesn't want to do it anymore, which is also, what is that called?
Um, yep. It's called d- d-
Do you know what?
autonomy, PDA.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So now I learned not to suggest. Now I play a little like you should not
You should
realign
definitely not
the
do that.
garbage can. You should just leave it there. Why don't you just leave it there? Just like, no, I'm gonna put it away. And I'm like, yes. No, I'm just that's all a joke. But
It does work.
yeah, that's ultimately the goal because I was talking with my therapist yesterday about anxiety, and the goal is not to get rid of it. The goal is anxiety is just we're humans, and it exists. The goal is to not um write stories with it. And the same thing could be said with ADHD. Like it is, and it's going to exist. And to say I wish I didn't have it, we want to work with what we have and just give people, not just kids, just empowerment. Like, oh, I can never do this. I can never remember this. And anything that has to do with my memory, I just stink. And it's like, no. And with certain tools, people will get it and they'll be like, okay, I'm not so bad, because shame is just a really, really toxic trait that a lot of people feel with these. So
Yeah. And as parents, um, I have a hard time when I'm sure you've talked about this with other people, but like I have a hard time when I'm overwhelmed. And how can you not be overwhelmed when you are ADHD and you hear everything and your kids are both love, you know, not only like the dopamine they get from fighting with each other, but the high that you get from singing at the
screaming.
top of your lungs or like playing so loud that you're screaming, right? And like I I think I probably went into singing because I loved the idea of singing, like of being loud, right? And that is, by the way, something that I highly recommend. Like even if you're not a good singer, like if you can just yell it out, like my mom does karaoke, and she just feels really good about that. But and I'm trying to get my kids into singing, but they don't. They're great at it. Both of them have like very good pitch. Like they're totally on. They have a lot of feeling for it, but they're not into it. But it, it if your kids are doing those things, how could you not be overwhelmed? And you just want to be like, get outside, or like, you guys do this all the time, or tell them what they're doing. You guys are getting excitement from yelling at each other, but you don't realize, no, but you just say, I'll be right back. I'm overstimulated. Don't, you guys can go outside, go play. If you want to be loud, go in your room and be loud. Or if you want to do that, you could, but like, it- it's really important, and it's really hard to do, to stop, to refrain from saying, hey, being loud, is terrible. No, because if you're singing loud and you're doing it for a reason, it's great. If you are speaking up for yourself, it's great. It's not, attaching shame to anything is really hard to do as first-time parents, and, especially, like, millennial parents, right? Being of the age where that's what they did, like, "Just go somewhere else, I don't care." We have a hard time, like, we have a hard time doing that, and I have a hard time not putting shame on the fact that I feel that way, but, like, I just have to know that I'm doing the right things, and I'm removing myself so that I don't create a problem, right? And, like, I just hope that with the way that we treat our kids, and we still have, like, these are our this is what I expect from you, right? I don't expect you to remember it every time, but I expect, if I prompt you, right? If I say, what do we do every day after we brush our teeth? What's next? Or, or we have like a teeth, hair, deodorant, or we have songs kind of for everything. But if we we have things that we expect. If they are outside of those things, there are consequences. They may not be punishment, but like, oh man, you had to go to school without your trumpet because you forgot it again, or you had to, you missed out on something that really stinks. I'm so sorry. It's not like we're not going to let them fail, but like, I do think it's important to feel like, oh man, if I had done that, it would have been so much better. But we don't. So we have boundaries, I guess, and we have like rules and stuff, but we don't have the shame. You say, okay, that's what happens. Not like, you stink, go to bed. At least that's the goal.
Yeah, it's you want to get them to think about how we want to approach this in the future and make it all work for, because we're all a family and we want to be happy. And I always try and think they're trying their best. I need to try my best for them too.
And so easy. It's like I said, it's so easy to get into shame. The hope is you do you celebrate your wins. Like, I'm learning more every day. Or I'm celebrating the wins. And then if you don't, if my parent may not understand that, like, I can't change this about myself, so I gotta let them know. Like, there's a song in that same song, like the second verse is like, sometimes people misunderstand me. I say to them, hey, can we talk? I'll tell you what you missed. Like, you missed that I actually was doing the thing you said. It's just I was asking a clarifying question, right? Which is that's the thing that bothers, like, neurotypical parents and neurotypical teachers and friends. Like, I was asking you, um, sometimes, like, JP will be like, you can't, we're not playing with sand today. Well, you didn't say Play-Doh, like, right? Like,
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Or you say no to one child and the other one does exactly. I'm like, do I have to literally say, Ben, no, Ella, no, like, no, no, it's like,
yeah,
no, but there is a processing, um, thing that can get clouded, and it just takes patience. It's just if anything I've learned as, I guess, neurotypical, though I probably am not, uh, is that it takes patience. It's patience, and there's no, that's all it is patience.
yeah. But where I was going with that was that I think I forgot where I was going with that. We want them to, speak up for themselves. Like, I want you to know that I wasn't, you know, that you missed something. Like, I want you to understand me as well. And that's something that's hard to do, I think.
Yeah. I was trying to remind my kids, I'm like, hey, we're all going to have things where, I apologize when I make mistakes and, let them know, hey, I also have trouble with these things, remembering to do things and getting things done in the wrong time. And it's not just you, it's everybody. Yeah. All right. Well, we're kind of coming up on time here. So I was wondering if you guys had any final thoughts you wanted to leave the audience with.
Just if you're a parent and your kid has ADHD, empathy is such an important part of it, and celebrating the wins and creating these little mnemonics to help them remember specific things is always helpful, because it's always better to work with joy.
Yeah. And please check out Aidee right now on YouTube, and hopefully it helps, because that's what we're doing it for, is to be helpful to parents and children.
Yes. What's the
YouTube.com at Aidee, AIDEEHD.
Yeah, same thing on socials, right?
And socials as well. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to encourage everyone to listen to the music, because it is, I know growing up, kids' music was not always the best. And sometimes I will have the kids put on stuff and I'm like, what is this? But stuff you guys made is fantastic. So I think people will really enjoy it.
Awesome. And yeah, the album, that'll be on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere.
And thank you to you for your podcast, because it really helps so much.
Thanks again to Kat and JP for coming on the show, and thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. Be sure to check out their new album, Aidee, Nothing Rhymes with Orange, on YouTube. But before you go, let's do a quick rundown of today's top tips. And for today's tips, I thought we'd go through those songs on the album, each of which is a tool in itself. So starting with Anything Else, reminding us to check if there's anything else we need to get when we're leaving the house or leaving a room. Then we've got Mad Mad Jelly Belly, which asks us to check in with ourselves when we're feeling dysregulated and seeing if maybe we just need to take a second to take care of our basic needs. And we've got Put It Away, and I think this one's pretty clear cut with the don't put it down, put it away. Then we've got Control, and while one of the symptoms of ADHD is that we tend to be quite impulsive, we still have control over our actions. When you feel those overwhelming impulses, you can just take a second, take a breath, and decide if that's the thing you really want to do. And we've got Learning More Every Day. We're a work in progress, and while we're bound to make mistakes along the way, that's okay. And finally, Breathe. When we're feeling overwhelmed, it's important for us to try and slow down, take a second to breathe, and get ourselves recentered. And remember, if you want to hear all those songs, you can find the album on their YouTube channel, link in the show notes. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. I'd love to hear what you thought of this episode. Feel free to connect with me over at hackingYourADHD.com/contact. If you'd like links or to read this episode's transcript, you can go to the show notes page at hackingYourADHD.com/246. And if you'd like even more Hacking Your ADHD, be sure to sign up for my newsletter, Any and All Distractions, which comes out every other week. In it, I give out my best distractions for the week, be they what I'm reading, what I'm playing, or what I'm watching. I also try to give out a few bits of actionable advice in each newsletter, although your mileage is certainly going to vary there. If that sounds like something you're interested in, head on over to hackingYourADHD.com/newsletter to sign up. You can also go check out our Patreon at hackingYourADHD.com/Patreon. It's a pay-what-you-want model, meaning that all levels of Patreon will receive all the same stuff. You can pay $0 or $2 or $10, and it's all the same. In it, you get access to behind-the-scenes stuff, the Hacking Your ADHD Discord, and early accesses for episodes. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, head on over to hackingYourADHD.com/Patreon. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/@hackingYourADHD. And finally, if you'd like another way to support the show, the best way to do so is to tell someone about the show, especially if you think a particular episode would resonate with them. Just click the share button on your podcast player. And now for your moment of dad. What do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows.